Breaking news from college football with the next CFP rankings coming out Tuesday. Oregon here back in the top 5 of today's AP Top 25 poll. The Ducks, who were 7th in the CFP rankings last week, swapping spots with idle Ole Miss in today's AP poll after taking down USC on Saturday. Tough week of practice there for Ole Miss. No, very good win there for Oregon. The top 4, though, of the AP poll still the same, led by Ohio State at number 1, leading into their rivalry game at Michigan, followed by Indiana, Texas A&M, and Georgia. If we continue to go down the list outside the top 10, you've got Miami, the highest-ranked ACC team at 13. Georgia Tech, though, having the biggest tumble of the week, falling 8 spots to 23 with their loss to Pitt. You don't even see it on this screen here. That's how far they fell. But another fall for USC, of course, after losing to Oregon, and Utah down 1 spot after a very, very close win over Kansas State. You got James Madison, though, remaining the highest-ranked Group of 5 school at number 20 there in the AP Top 25 poll. The final 5 teams look like this. More G5. North Texas is in at 21. Tulane at 22. Georgia Tech, like I said, falling those 8 spots, and 2 unranked to ranked. We've got Pitt at 24 and SMU at 25. We've got Bud Elliott here in studio and Brad Crawford joining us remotely to react to the latest AP poll. And guys, Oregon, they've got it. They've got that signature win, and maybe one of the best losses this season, of course, to Indiana earlier on. But I'll start with you here, Brad. What did we learn about the Ducks on Saturday with their win over USC?
Yeah, I think we learned that with the 100-yard game, Noah Whittington got some tough yards late. And despite going down 7-0 early in that game, Oregon counterpunched USC throughout. We saw Malik Benson's 85-yard scintillating punt return there in the second quarter. And after that big play on special teams, Oregon did not relinquish the lead the rest of the way. This was a playoff elimination game for USC. It potentially could have been for Oregon, depending on how next week's game goes at Washington. But this was a necessary game to get for Dan Lanning at Allison Stadium. It's another ranked win for the Ducks after they picked one up a couple of weeks ago against Iowa. And I think this solidifies Oregon's first-round home game status as long as they beat the Huskies on the road next weekend.
Completely agree with Brad there, and I'll even go a step further. Think about who Oregon did not have in this game. Their top 3 receivers, arguably their top 4 receivers, both of their offensive tackles, who are definitely NFL guys. Their center, who's probably an NFL guy, got leg whipped in the first quarter of that game and didn't come back in, right? You also have like some pretty serious guys on defense who they'll be getting back. I mean, Emily, they probably have $4 or $5 million worth of payroll for this year in the injury tent, and they are still bullying people. Like I watched that game, and I couldn't help but think, oh, shoot, none of these injuries are all that serious. Like, if they get back and get healthy, I think Oregon's like a legitimate top 2 or top 3 contender to win the whole damn thing if they get right.
Yeah, I'll speak on behalf of the Ducks because they're not going to say this. I think they're quite all right with not playing in the Big Ten championship this year.
Absolutely. Based
on those injuries. Still one more game to get through, as Brad mentioned, with Washington to close out the regular season. Let's go to the SEC because Oklahoma just can't make it pretty, but they did win over Mizzou. I think their head coach, Brent Venables, put it best when he said, quote, "It's not pretty, but this is not a beauty contest. This is football." So if we continue with the theme of beauty contests, how do you judge from what we saw from Oklahoma?
They're just wildly consistent in terms of style of play and approach week to week, right? Like, Mateer does not see the field very well. They have 3 freshman offensive linemen who just, that gives you a lot of inconsistency on offense, and yet the defense shows up almost every week. A ton of tackles for loss, a ton of chaos. They made Missouri completely one-dimensional. Missouri, obviously, both really trying to get back, fast and make an impact in that game, wasn't really able to do so. It's not going to be pretty. This is just kind of the way Oklahoma has to win. I mean, as a Tennessee fan, you saw it, right? Like, let's just cause chaos with defense. Maybe we'll get a couple lucky bounces. And Oklahoma's a very good team. If they face a really good offense, I think they're probably in trouble. But for right now, you got to give them credit for finding ways to win, given what they have and what they don't have.
When your offense is essentially John Mateer, hey man, run around the pocket until you find somebody and make a play on 3rd down, there's some issues there. I think Oklahoma's lack of a run game throughout the season has been noticeable. Maybe it's not an Achilles heel for this team because the defense is so good. I'm not too worried about the Sooners being an early playoff exit because that side of the football under Brent Venables has been so elite this season. But come on, man, you've got to score more than 17, 23. I mean, you got to hit in the 30s to beat some of these elite teams in the playoff and get past the first round. So Oklahoma needs to find some semblance of explosion on offense that doesn't always involve John Mateer making something happen.
Third straight game that Oklahoma was outgained, yet they won all those games, 2 of them coming in tough environments on the road at Tennessee and Alabama. Brad said not too concerned. What's your concern level with this offense?
It would depend on the matchup and the location, right?
Okay.
Like if you face Notre Dame, I do think Notre Dame, as well as almost every team you would play in the playoff, is going to make this OU offense look bad, because we're seeing teams play the same defense against Mateer every week. And every week Arbuckle schemes out whooping guys and Mateer doesn't see it, right? So then it leads to him having to run around and make plays because the play was there to be made and he missed it within the structure of the play call. Like a lot of people are talking about this thumb thing. The vision has been an issue since week 1. That's not thumb related. So if they face Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame's going to score 30 plus. Because that offense is that good. And even though Oklahoma's defense is incredible, can they get to that number? Now, there are some teams like Texas Tech. I think they would shut down Texas Tech offense just fine. That's probably like a 7-10 game, right? But it depends on who they play and where they play them.
Oh, that's disgusting for the playoffs. 7-10, but no, they'll take a win however they can get it, and they've been getting them. Elsewhere in the ACC, you've got Pitt dominating Georgia Tech, SMU doing the same to Louisville, just as we all predicted. So, Brad, what does this mean for the playoff picture for the ACC now?
The doomsday scenario is beginning to unfold. We saw it happen in Week 11 a couple weeks ago. We saw Virginia stub its toe, Louisville, and then Georgia Tech obviously losing NC State. And then last night, so many cataclysmic games, none bigger than Georgia Tech laying an egg at home against Pitt. But to Pat Narduzzi's credit, he told us a week ago before they got blown out, the Panthers that is, by Notre Dame, we just need to win out. And right now, if Pitt beats Miami and gets some help next weekend during rivalry weekend, then he's right. Pitt goes to Charlotte as the ACC front runner. But right now, Virginia and SMU are the only 2 teams in the ACC who control their own destiny. But I tell you what, Miami fans and Duke fans were all in my Twitter mentions today telling me we still have a path. Yeah, but 5 or 6 things have to happen in addition to winning out to get there.
First of all, I'm glad Brad and I can finally disagree a little bit. I don't know if this is entirely a doomsday scenario for the ACC because the champion was always going to go. And certain things last night did kind of happen in front of Miami. Now, like Utah in the AP poll is behind Miami, right? If BYU gets smacked again by Texas Tech, I think a 10-2 Miami has a decent shot to go over an 11-2 BYU. If Tennessee kills Vandy, that gets them out of the way as well. And the key thing here is the committee evaluates teams in pods. It's a little crazy how they do this, but in order for Miami for the head-to-head to really play, they have to be in the same evaluation pod of 3 with Notre Dame, which they're clearly not right now. But if the teams in front of them lose, just they have to move up a little bit, and then that head-to-head for Miami might play a little more.
Yeah, Miami really, really wanted Utah to lose that football game so they could move up because they're conveniently 4 spots away from each other, but they have been slowly working their way up. As for the Big 12, though, while we're mentioning Utah, that championship picture got a whole lot clearer, but could we potentially see both BYU and Texas Tech in this postseason?
I think it's possible, but not probable, right? Like you can't completely write off the scenario in which it does happen. If BYU, finishes strong in the final week and they play a close game against Texas Tech, and this is important, and they get chaos around them, I think there's a chance.
Yeah, if you're a Miami fan or, even a Notre Dame fan, Alabama fan, any team in that bubble to last team in scenario, you don't want to see BYU go to the Big 12 championship game and beat Texas Tech in 2 weeks because that's the path for 2 teams from the Big 12 to get in. I don't see BYU being the last team in if they finish 11-2, losing to Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. But like we saw last season, sometimes conference championship game results do not affect or take you out of the 12-team bracket. SMU lost to Clemson last year, still made it as the last team in. So BYU still controls its own destiny. Win out, beat Texas Tech, you're in, no complaints.
Yeah, Clemson with the bid thief last year. Certainly don't want that if you're a bubble team here. Let's end with the G5 because results stood as they should have. It was very close for James Madison, though, against Washington State, Brad. But what do we make of the G5 race at this point? Because there's 3 teams now ranked in the AP poll.
Yeah, I know JMU fans probably happy today. They're ranked 20th, the highest they've been ranked in several years. But look, it doesn't matter unless the committee agrees. And JMU has not been ranked in the committee's rankings these first 3 top 25s we've seen every Tuesday night. North Texas is still my favorite to win the American. I think they're going to play Tulane and beat Tulane here in a couple weeks and get that G5 bid. But obviously the committee is begging Tulane to win out. John Summerall said last week before their game, we are not a top 25 team. And what does the committee do? Puts Tulane as the G5 team in the playoff top 25. So Tulane, North Texas winner, is going to get that G5 bid as the number 12, if I had to project right now.
Completely agree with Brad there. Look, the AP poll generally will conform its voting within certain constraints to what the committee does. We've seen this. They're very much followers, except, as Chip Patterson pointed out last night on Cover 3, they remain kind of like having a hipster vibe, if you will, with some of the G5 stuff. Like JMU staying ahead of SMU. JMU's loss to Louisville's aging like milk. SMU killed Louisville yesterday. Like, how can you watch those two games and seriously have JMU, which has 0 quality wins, over SMU at this point? But the AP, they do some kind of squirrely stuff at the bottom of some of the G5. I agree with Brad. The American champion is going to the playoff.
We'll say the College Football Playoff Committee has proven this year to value losses way less than what we've seen in the past. Good losses being that. So it is, I guess, a good loss to lose to Louisville, except for SMU, which, none of it makes any sense, but that's why we project what we believe is going to happen on Tuesday. So we appreciate you guys for breaking down the latest AP poll. Look at these notable CFP dates. Go ahead, screenshot it, take a picture. It's all coming. December 20th is when the first round of the college football playoff starts. We've got quarters on New Year's Eve and day, semis January 8th and 9th, and the national championship is set for January the 19th.